Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about a different topic, and that is how to change your life in 2022. The one thing that no one really talks about. So no, I'm not going to tell you to drink more water, to take in your vitamins, to wake up early, to work out, to have this amazing morning routine. However, don't get me wrong, those things are really great to do, but I'm going to hit this topic on a different area. So I'm going to tell you a personal story. Every single new year, we gather as a family, and my dad usually prays a special prayer over us siblings individually. And this is something that I personally, honor in my life, the declaration of the Father's blessing. And this is just to set up a good tone for the rest of the year. And because I was like, you know what, I need a breakthrough, because 2020 was a very hard year. So I was like, you know what, I need this prayer of blessing to cancel out all of the bad that has happened in 2020, and in order for me to have a good 2021. So I went to my dad to receive this prayer of blessing, and you know what my dad said this time to me? He said that this time I will not pray over you, and then he proceeded to start correcting me. And I was just so shocked and taken back because I was so ready, okay? I was so ready to receive this prayer of blessing and maybe some words of encouragement, but instead I got the sermon of my life. And my dad was not pointing out, the terrible things that I'm doing, because I'm not doing terrible things, but it's mostly the things that I am not doing that is hindering me from my breakthrough. Also, he was pointing out my character and sometimes the little attitudes that I have. And I'm gonna be the first one to admit that, of course, I'm not perfect. And yes, I would admit that those are the things that I definitely need to work on as well. However, during that time, my mind was just set on receiving the blessing, that every single correction that my dad was saying to me, I was just kind of just like offended. And the moment that I was about to reason out with my dad and actually justify my little behaviors and my little attitudes, I just heard the Lord tell me to not reason out, but to actually listen and acknowledge what my dad was saying to me. Just because there's a difference when you just listen to someone and actually acknowledge their words. And this happens a lot. Sometimes you could listen to someone, their words will go in one ear and it'll just go out in the other. However, if you acknowledge someone else's words or message, there's honor behind that. And you put yourself in a position to actually accept new information, and at the same time, you position your heart to receive correction. And it was very hard for me at first, because I know correction is a very hard pill to swallow. It's not something that when you first hear it, you rejoice over it, But I do like how at the end of our conversation, my dad made me understand that he said it doesn't really matter if he prays a special prayer of blessing over me, if I still go on with my bad habits, or if I don't change my perspective, if I'm still set on my old ways and not change certain patterns in what I do, my life is still going to remain the same, because we are creatures of habit. Sometimes we do things in autopilot if we're not really self-aware that there are some things that we really need to alter in order for us to actually see changes in our lives. So in the end of our conversation, I thank my dad for the correction, and I realized that I may not receive the prayer of blessing that I wanted to hear, but however, I got the correction that I needed to change the course of my life. I also realized that correction is a blessing in itself if you only recognize it. It's just that it's not packaged on how I wanted it to look like or how I wanted it to sound like. And correction is just a redirection to where you need to be if you are getting off track. So it's like if your destination is to go here, and if you're going right here, correction is just simply redirecting you if you're getting off track. So the main takeaways from this video is that in order for your life to change, you need to accept correction as well. Just as how we are welcoming of any words of encouragement or praises or a prophetic word, we need to accept correction with the same attitude and the same enthusiasm. And I know, and as I've said, correction is a very hard pill to swallow, but it really takes a humble person, a person who has a teachable spirit, to lower their pride to receive it. You see, a compliment or praises from other people can boost your ego, but accepting correction can change the course of your life. It is where you can actually see growth. So I think it's good to evaluate certain areas of our life to where, you know, we need correction or we need to be corrected. And also I think it is very important to be surrounded with friends who are not only there to encourage you, but also friends who are going to call you out when needed, you know, especially if you're going astray, and friends who are going to call you higher. People who won't allow you to remain the same. And I know that sometimes it's very hard to accept correction because it really targets your pride and your ego, and it breaks some principles that you may have established in your life, you know, that are not really serving you. But however, if you want permanent changes in your life, being surrounded by friends and people who are there to correct you are very necessary to have. And personally, I found that my life has definitely changed when I started, you know, acknowledging correction, because I was able to welcome, you know, new things in my life. I got a new perspective, a new outlook in life. And when I started thinking differently, I also started doing things differently from what I was used to. I started breaking, you know, negative habits and negative patterns that I would typically follow. So as a result, I've seen the little changes happening in my life. It may not be, you know, major things yet. In the whole thing about how to change your life, I realized that it's actually a process. You know, it's not a goal that you achieve and then that's it. Because as long as you're alive, you are going to encounter change and you will have to change as a person. And hopefully you and I every single year are becoming more and more of who God made us to be and discovering who God called you to be and discovering your purpose and to finally reach your fullest potential in life, you know, to be able to utilize and give back to the world every giftings and talents that God has given you is life-changing right there, because not only your life is changed, but the lives of others are changed as well because of you, because you made that change first. So that is it, you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful new year and I'll see you soon. Bye!